Welcome back to the class, dear students. In continuation with our chapter number 12, alternative centers of the power, economic and political power, we'll continue with the next topic that is called European Union. Now, this is a group of a country of European countries who has come together for a political and economic cooperation. Now let's see why this European Union was created, and then let's see the historical background of this European Union, how it came into being through this lesson, and then we will also learn how it's being an alternative center of power. Okay, why was EU created? European Union was created. So here it was created to bring integration and cooperation among the European countries, and this became a needed thing because the economic and political structure of the European countries it deteriorated during the Second World War, and then these structures needed to be recovered from the effect of the war. As we all know, it involves many things in the war, like our economy, our human resources, and many other things. Now, by getting involved themselves into the Second World War, many of the European countries, they were laid shattered in their economic structure and political structure, in both things. So here this EU was created in order to bring a good relation among the European countries, and also to try to help each other in building up their economic and political system. So that was the reason why this European Union was created, in short. Okay, now the history of its creation and expansion. Let's see how this European come into being. We should keep in mind that this European Union did not came up just with one step itself. So it has gone through various evolution when it was created. So the first like I've told you, when they were laid shattered because of their involvement in the Second World War, the European countries, they needed an economic setup or economic recovery. So in 1947, this George Marshall, he's the name of a person. He was an American Secretary of the State in American Parliament. So this George Marshall, he brought up an economic recovery program, and this program, it was named after him, which was known as a Marshall Plan. And under this USA, under his plan, Marshall Plan, USA came up with an idea that it will provide an economic assistance to promote the European rehabilitation and reconstruction after the Second World War. And why this George Marshall, why did he brought up this program or plan? Was during the Cold War, after the Second World War, they were having the Cold War, and then in order to contain the spread of communist ideology in Europe. In order to contain the spread of communist ideology in Europe, Marshall, George Marshall, the State Secretary of USA, he brought up this plan in order to give assistance so that the European country does not fall into the hand of or the influence of the communist ideology or the Soviet Union. So, with that in mind, OEEC was created for the purpose. That was the full form Organization for European Economic Cooperation in 1948. So, that was the first step that came, which led to the creation of EU in the later years. So, that was the first step where the creation of European Union was taken up in 1948 by the creation of Organization for European Economic Cooperation under the George Marshall Plan or Marshall Plan, the State Secretary of USA. Now the second one was the Council of Europe that was established in the subsequent year 1949. So like I've been repeating this, European countries, they felt the need for political cooperation among them, and even though by the creation of this Organization for European Economic Cooperation, they've started having a close relationship, close cooperation in economic field, but they did not only need for cooperation among themselves in an economic field or economic arena, but they felt a strong urge for political cooperation among them, and because of that, the Council of Europe was created by the European countries, and it brought a step forward in political cooperation among them. Through this creation of the Council of Europe in 1949, their cooperation in the political arena came a step forward. The third one we want to see is the creation of the European Economic Community that was established in 1957 through the Treaty of Rome. And this European Economic Community was also known as European Common Market or Common Trade Policy. And then this European Economic Community of 1957, it was created to establish common external trade policy among the European countries and remove most trade barriers among the member countries. They want to bring a closer relationship, they want to bring a more good cooperation in trade and businesses. So through this economic community established in 1957 through the Treaty of Rome, they created a common market among themselves or a common trade policy, and they also established a common external trade policy. Now why this was needed? Because if some of the European countries, if they are having a good relationship with the Asian and the African countries or any other group of countries, but if the other one, if they have a different kind of policies, like with other countries, then that is going to hamper their relationship, or that is going to bring differences among themselves. Now, like for instance, we are running a shop together. If I start selling the goods or items in a lower or in a cheaper price, that will spoil the market price for both of us. Or if you started selling in a higher price, then people will start floating into my shop than yours. So something like that. And then our relation will be strained, because you want to make a better profit than mine, but the customer, they want to take in a cheaper price, so they are going to flow into my market or flow into my shop rather than yours. So that's going to create a difference between us. So in the same thing, in order to avoid those kind of things, they brought up this common market policy and common trade policies, and also to establish a common external trade policy. The European countries should have a common external trade policy. And then among them, they wanted to remove maximum trade barrier. They will charge each other a less amount of trade taxes or whatever that can bring a good cooperation among themselves. So those kind of things, those kind of ideas were created through this European Economic Community, which was established in 1957. Okay, the next one is European Parliament. Now under European Economic Cooperation, or the first one just now, what we have completed, what we have seen. Under this, that was just for economic purpose, but it attained a political dimension. It was created for economic cooperation, but they under this European Economic Community of 1957, they attained a political dimension, or they started venturing into the political arena also, through the creation of this European Parliament in 1962. Now they created an assembly, and then which was turned into which was declared itself into a parliament in 1962. So this parliament consists of the delegates of the member countries, which is chosen by the parliament of the member countries. Please keep this clear in your mind. The parliament consists of the delegates of the member countries or member states, and then these members or these delegates, they will be chosen by their own parliament, and slowly in the subsequent year, in the following year, this parliament, which was created in 1962, it took over the control over the budgetary process of the member state by the Treaty of Luxembourg in 1970. So slowly, under European Economic Community of 1957, an assembly was created, which declared itself as a parliament in 1962. And then this parliament composed of the delegates of the member states, which was chosen by the parliament of the countries, of their own countries. And then slowly this parliament took over the control over the budgetary process of the member state through the Treaty of Luxembourg in 1970. So that was the European Parliament. And finally, the foreign ministers of this European Economic Community, they came together in 1992 at Maastricht, that is the name of a town in Netherlands, and signed a treaty. So Maastricht Treaty, we call that as a Maastricht Treaty. And then EEC, or this European Economic Community, it formally took the shape of European Union through this treaty on November 1, 1993. So that how European Union formally came into being in 1993 through the Treaty of Maastricht in 1993. So that was the history of the creation of this European Union. Now let's see how it's functioning, or what are its role in this present time as an alternative center of economic and political power. Okay, these EU member countries, they built a common foreign and security policy, and then greater cooperation in matters in the matters of immigration. Central bank and common currency was created, and that common currency was known by the name euro. So through this Maastricht Treaty of 1993, European Union was created, and then the member countries, they built a common foreign and security policy. They have the European Union member countries, they all have a common foreign policy and security policy also, and then they are cooperating together in order to fight against immigration, or they want to set up the central bank and also a common currency among the member countries, and this currency is known by the name euro. Total strength of the member is 27 since the exit of the British from EU on 31st January 2020. Please keep that in mind. It was previously 28 with Croatia as the new member, but it is now at present it is now only 27 member, because British have, or Great Britain, sorry, not British, okay, Great Britain, there's a mistake here, please correct it by yourself. By the exit of Britain from the EU, on 31st January 2020, it has left with only 27 member states. Let's see the composition or the organs of the European Union. The first one is European Commission. It composed of the European Commission, European Council of Ministers, and then European Parliament. This Parliament is elected for 5-year terms. Economic and Social Committee, and then they also have a Court of Justice. So these are the composition of the European Union. Okay, European Union also have its own flag. They have their own anthem, and then they have their own currency by the name euro. I've already mentioned that. So this is the main composition of the main organs of the European Union. So let's see the objectives of EU. What are the objectives of EU, or the aims? Economic integration. There's a spelling mistake there. Integration. Economic integration. Now here, economic integration means to unrestrict the flow of goods, person, capital, etc. among the member states. There won't be any restricted thing. Restricted flow of goods, person, and capital means all these things, the goods and the people, and then the capital, the money. There should be a good cooperation between the member countries, so that there is a good communication, economic integration among the member states. The second one is to be more productive in agriculture and industry. Now they have a common goal to be more productive in agriculture and industries. They wanted to build a monetary stability among the member states or among this European Union. Monetary means economic or money matter. We are talking about money stability or economic stability. Common Foreign Program and Security Policy, CFSP. Common Foreign and Security Policy. Please keep this abbreviation in your mind. So they want to build up a common foreign and security policy so that they ensure a lasting peace among the member countries and also with other unions or other organizations or another group of nations. Okay, now we want to see what is the influence or what is the impact of this presence of this EU in the world, or how is it functioning as an alternative center of economic and political power. Okay, it has a different arena of influences. So first, let's see the economic influence. Now they have created a single market. Okay, this EU have created a single market among the member countries. They come together, all these 27 members, they have a single market policy here, and then because of this, EU has emerged as the world's largest single trading bloc. Now together as a 27 member, they are together they have created a one single market. I mean, the country have a common policies and programs, so like wherever you go, you'll find the same policies in your among the member state of the European nation. So the people cannot make a one bargain with other this group and then another bargain with this one. No, they have a common policy. If this country says yes, the other country will say yes to you. If one of the member state of EU says no, this is not our policy, then the same response you are going to get from the other European members also. So that is what it means. And because of this, they have a good flow of free flow of goods, people, capital, and technology among the member countries. Now they have made sure that they have a list or no trade barriers among the member countries, so there is a free flow of goods or people, the capital and technology. Now, like just for example, if we want to go to other foreign countries or any of the member countries of European Union, we have to have our visas, we have to have our currencies, we have to there may be a lot of thing involved in order to get to the or fly to their country. But the member countries of European Union, there won't be any such restrictions as we have, because we are not a member country of the European Union, but their member country has a different policy with one another, and then they have a different policy with the foreign countries. So something like that. They have created a single market, and then because of that, it is one of the single trading bloc among this country, and then there is a free flow of good, people, capital, and technology among the member countries, which is making a huge impact on the growth of economic under EU economic strength. Okay, the GDP of EU has already crossed 12,000 billion by early 2005. So that is a huge development gross domestic product of EU has crossed 12 billion by early 2005. Single currency. Okay, more than 16 nations or the countries are now using this single currency and providing this better investment opportunity, growth and prosperity. Now when they have a same value of money among themselves, that is going to create a better opportunity for their investment and then even for their own growth and prosperity. So by now more than 16 nations have already started using euro, this currency, the common currency that was created by the European Union. And now you don't have to make an exchange of your currency. Like if you are a European member countries, you can just go anywhere to any of the country and then just spend your money there. You don't need to go and make an exchange of your currency from your country or from your nation. Not like that. So this single currency is also playing a good role in providing a great opportunity, investment opportunities and growth, helping them in growing a better economic in their own country also. The fourth one is common agricultural policy. Now these European countries or this European Union member countries, they used to buy a surplus, or they will purchase a surplus grain from the farmers, and then they make a profitable export to the Afro and Asian nations. So all of them, they have this common program in agricultural policy, or in the common policy in agriculture, that is to purchase a surplus grain from the farmers, the big farmers, and then they will make an export, or they will make a sale to the Afro-Asian nations and make a profit out of it. Okay, since they are all together, have one policy, one programs, or they have one currencies or everything. Because of all this good cooperation among themselves, they also have a one voice, single voice in global economic affair. So all the European nations, the 27 members, all of them will say yes or no together in the world economic global affairs. So if 27 members says no to you, that we won't have a good economic relationship with you, or if they're going to sanction any economic sanction on any of the country by stopping a trade and commerce relationship with you, then that's going to be a very huge loss for that particular country. So through these things, they have a very good impact on the world, especially in this World Bank and the World Trade Organizations. Now if a country goes against their policy, like just for example, let's take China. If China's go against EU, then all the 27 members, they will stop any commercial relationship with trade and policies and everything with China. Then China is going to make a huge loss, because she's going to lose trade policies or relationship with all the 27 members of the EU. So if you lose a relationship with 27, that's a huge impact. That's going to make a huge impact on your economy. So the countries, they can't go against EU unnecessarily, just like that. So with all these things, they have a common voice even in the global economic affair, and that's really having a good impact on the world. And then even USA, though being the world superpower, she might not uh, try to offend the EU member countries, because like I've told you, she's going to lose relationship with the 27 member countries, not only one single country. So through all these things, they are really having an impact on the global economic affairs. Okay, now political and diplomatic. Now, when a country or a nation, they have a huge economic impact on the or economic power, they can also have a good influence and impact on diplomatic or political decisions in the world. Now, like I've told you, they will try to impose economic sanction on the countries which does not go along with their policies and programs, or which is going against the world's policy. Now, the best example, one of the best example, is they start imposing economic sanction on Russia in 1979 when she attacked Afghanistan. So what EU did was, since you are doing those things undemocratically by attacking Afghanistan, we will stop all economic relationship with you. We won't have any trade and commerce relationship with USA. All the EU members, we will withdraw our trade policies with you if you won't stop attacking Afghanistan. Now, that's going to have a great impact on Russian economy. So through this economic power, huge economic power, or through the collaboration of 27 members, they are having a good impact even in the political and diplomatic decisions of the world. So that is a very good example how the power of the US or the superpower of the world are being checked because of this EU. Now any country, they can't afford to offend this EU, because it's not only one member, but it's 27 countries or 27 nations, independent nations. Okay, because of this, it has the ability to influence the world politics. Through all these things, it has the ability to influence the world politics. Okay, now the next one, let's see, the next one is their military strength. Now they have a common military setup. EU has a common military setup, and then EU is one of the strongest next to USA now. And then the combined force of EU military power and its budget expenses, the second next to USA. USA is the country who spends a huge amount of economy, and it stands the first in the world in regarding to the expenses for its budget on the security, building up its security or military forces. Even the combined 27 members of EU cannot be compared with the budget that USA is spending on its security or military. However, this EU is not a simple one, though it cannot compete with the, it's not coming to the par of USA. It is the second in comparison with USA. Now 27 members is not a small power, and even in comparing with us, or even in terms of military power. And then they are the second large expense group of country who is experiencing their budget on their military strength, though they cannot fight with they cannot be compared with the USA. And then this European Union, they will also have a second largest source of space and communication and technology. Prior to the exit of Britain, the Great Britain from the EU, it had a very good strength of military strength, a good power of military strength. However, with the exit of this Britain from the EU, it has brought a caution whether it's going to have the same impact even in the present or even in the future. Now, since Britain and France, the member countries of EU, they were the part of the permanent members of United Nations, so even all through these things, they were having a great impact on the decision that was made in the United Nations. And then they will send this peacekeeping force, combined peacekeeping force to the UN, and then through all these things, they have a very strong say in the United Nations decisions. However, exit of Britain has brought a very huge impact on the EU also. Okay, so this EU is a supranational organization. Means a supranational organization means organization that has a power to influence beyond their national boundaries. Those organization which has a power to influence beyond their national boundary, they are called the supranational organization. So EU is one of it. And how is this EU playing a role in the countries? It is keeping a check on this euro, the common currency of euro, is checking over the the currency of USA. Is trying to keep the growth of dollar so that the growth of the US economy is being kept under check, to make sure that, and then it can deploy its army for peacekeeping operations to the United Nations in times of crisis. Like I've told you, European Union, they have a second largest military strength in comparison with the USA. Now, whenever United Nations needs a peacekeeping force or army for peacekeeping operation, like in Iraq or these Arabian countries, especially the war zones, when United Nations needs the army, this group of countries, the European Union, they sent their army for peacekeeping operation to the United Nations. And because of all these things, they can influence, or they can have a good say in the decision making of the United Nations also. And then this European Union is also a winner of Nobel Peace Prize in 2012 as an organization. However, like I told you, with the withdrawal of Britain from the EU, it had left a caution of its effectiveness and strength in the coming days. Now, Britain was one of the strongest member of this EU. However, Britain planned to exit from the EU, so it has left a caution in the minds of the people whether EU will have the same impact, effectiveness on the world as an alternative center of economic and political power, like when Britain was its member. So that is the question we are having in hand for this EU. So that's all for today. I hope you have gained something, and if you have any doubts, you can let me know.